All right, esteemed members of the jury. Just kidding. You're back on Legal Suit Decoded, the only courtroom drama where the law takes a coffee break and common sense is held in contempt. Tonight's feature presentation, the curious incident of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, or as I like to call it, Deportation, a comedy of errors starring the Trump administration and the ghost of due process. Let's rewind and meet our accidental protagonist, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, a Salvadoran man who'd been living in Maryland for 14 years. That's over a decade of tax-paying, family-raising, Home Depot visiting Americana. The kind of guy you'd trust to help you move a couch or fix your gutters. In other words, clearly a threat to national security. So how does this man end up deported to a country where a judge explicitly said he could be murdered? Simple. The Trump administration decided court orders were more like suggestions and treated them with the same enthusiasm they reserved for climate science, ethics briefings, and fact-checking. The trigger for this whole fiasco? Abrego Garcia was allegedly loitering outside a Home Depot wearing gang-affiliated attire. I'll pause while you roll your eyes. You good? To continue, according to ICE, this was enough to classify him as a public menace, because nothing screams cartel kingpin like waiting for day labor jobs in a hoodie and jeans. If that's gang-related, then half of suburban high schoolers are apparently running drug rings. And let's not forget, a judge in 2019 said, nope, don't deport him. Why? Because if he went back to El Salvador, rival gangs might treat him like the last slice of pizza at a party, violently and without mercy. The court saw this, acknowledged it, and ruled accordingly. But here's where it takes a sharp turn into absurdity. They deported him anyway. Yep, despite a judicial ruling, despite a Supreme Court opinion, the Trump administration, in what I can only describe as a mix of arrogance and administrative amnesia, put him on a plane faster than an Asian mom throwing you her slippers. It's like asking for a restraining order and instead getting gift wrapped to your stalker. But wait, the script isn't finished, because when called out, the administration got creative. They pivoted to a bold new defense. He's actually a human trafficker. A big claim. Spicy. Too bad it's about as substantiated as a Bigfoot sighting. Their evidence? A 2014 traffic stop where he was found transporting 8 undocumented immigrants, not charged, not convicted, not even a speeding ticket to sweeten the deal. But sure, let's slap human trafficker on him like a name tag at a mixer. Now, Abrego Garcia's legal team, real MVPs of this farce, took the fight back to the courts, basically yelling, "Hello? Are we still pretending the rule of law exists, or nah?" And lo and behold, the Supreme Court eventually mumbled, "Hey, maybe undeport the guy," which, translated from legalese, roughly means, "you done goofed." But ICE shrugged and doubled down like it was a game of blackjack, and they were trying to bankrupt the Constitution. Instead of complying, they kept him stashed in El Salvador like he was a rogue government file they hoped no one would ask about. And let's take a second to marvel at that. This isn't just contempt of court, it's institutional gaslighting. It's saying, we hear the judiciary, but we've decided executive power is now a choose-your-own-adventure book. So where is Kilmar Abrego Garcia now? Chillin', and I use that term loosely, in a lower security detention facility in El Salvador. That's right, our government outsourced his detainment. We've now reached the point in our democracy where we're subcontracting constitutional violations. And make no mistake, federal judges are livid. One even warned that this behavior inches us closer to a constitutional crisis. You know, the kind of legal meltdown that should keep presidents up at night, but probably just became another bullet point on the Trump team's to ignore list, wedged between emoluments clause and the 25th Amendment. But what does the Trump administration do when faced with scandal? Gaslight, deny, deflect, and if that fails, throw in a buzzword like border security and hope people stop asking questions. It's like a bad magician distracting you with glitter while he saws the Bill of Rights in half. And let's not forget, this isn't just about Abrego Garcia. This is about every person who gets steamrolled by the machine when it decides laws are optional and compassion is inconvenient. It's about what happens when the executive branch goes rogue and starts playing Calvin ball with human lives. Abrego Garcia's plea is painfully straightforward. I'm not a gang member. I have a family. I want to go home. But apparently, that's too nuanced for an administration that sees the world in red hats and black and white villainy. In the end, what we're witnessing isn't just a deportation debacle. It's a tragicomic illustration of what happens when ideology hijacks legality, when arrogance outruns accountability, and when fear masquerades as policy. So to the Trump administration, congratulations. You've managed to turn due process into a punchline, the judiciary into a suggestion box, and a man's life into a case study in how not to govern. We're serving you a subpoena for common sense, a restraining order from the Constitution, and a strongly worded group chat message from Lady Liberty herself. And to Kilmar Abrego Garcia, stay strong, study up on your legal Spanish, and remember, even in the dumbest timeline, sometimes justice has a plot twist. Maybe, possibly, we'll see. Stay tuned and bring your own tea, because this is going to get wilder.